them. In 1995, more than 100 people died when rebels seized a hospital in southern Russia. In 1999, bombs in 3 cities, including the capital Moscow, claimed more than 200 lives. In 2002, rebels held 700 people captive in a Moscow theater for 3 days. About 170 people were killed in the standoff with Russian troops. In 2004, 2 Russian domestic flights blew up almost simultaneously, killing 90 people. And in the same year, rebels seized a school in Beslan. Over 300 hostages, half of them children, died during a botched rescue operation by the Russians. And in March earlier this year, 2 blasts ripped through the Moscow metro stations during rush hour, killing 34 people. And finally, last August, at least 19 people were killed after rebels attacked the heavily defended resident of Chechenya's pro-Kremlin president, Ramzan Kadyrov. Mohammad Shishani, my question is to you now. I mean, in view of all these attacks, don't think that the rebels in Chechnya are actually giving a reason to the president to use heavy-handed methods, and are giving a good reason also to Russia to back these heavy-handed methods?
Yes, I agree with that. First, I'd like to comment on what my colleague, Mr. Malyshenko, mentioned about the Chechen people not wanting independence. He should remember that in 1990, 91, and 92, people from throughout Chechnya gathered in Grozny, and that was the first Chechen Congress, and they declared that they want independence from Russia. What were the causes of the first war of 95 and the second war in 99? Because the people of Chechnya wanted independence. If they agreed to be part of Russia, there would have been no war in Chechnya. There wouldn't have been 250,000 lives wasted so wrongly. There wouldn't have been crimes against humanity committed by the Russian forces in Chechnya. The reason for all these massacres have been because of the desire of the Chechen people to be independent. And I would challenge Mr. Malyshenko and say, if they believe that the Chechens don't want independence, we accept a referendum in Chechnya on independence. Let the people, under international supervision, vote whether they want to be independent from Russia or part of Russia, and we will accept the result of that. Now, coming back to these areas that you mentioned, the theater in Moscow and Beslan and the other places, many Russians and many international observers believe that these were all conducted and planned by the FSB, okay, just to make the Chechens look bad and make sure that the United States will agree with whatever Russia will do in Chechnya. The explosions that happened in Moscow, there have been books written by Melikonkov, and that says that the Russian FSB conducted all these explosions. And the massacre in Beslan, who killed all these people? The observers say not a bullet was directed against the children from their backs. Everything was from the front, and that was the assault of the Russian forces on these children in Chechnya.
Okay,
yes,
thank you. I just want to ask Alexei Malyshenko. You said earlier that the Chechen president is in direct contact with Vladimir Putin. Now, the two men probably have spoken more than once today. What do you think are they planning for the days and weeks ahead? Some people told me earlier today that this might be the beginning of a new round of war of hostilities.
No, I don't believe that it will happen. I don't believe in the possibility of next round of the war because of a lot of reasons, and first of all because of Chechen society is too tired. Too tired, they don't want war. That's why a big part of the population support Ramzan Kadyrov despite all his cruelties and mistakes. Sometimes they say in Russia at the moment that maybe Kadyrov could be replaced by Putin. There is a lot of speculation about this topic, but I don't believe. because Putin for Medvedev, for somebody else on the top of Russian political elite, it's extremely difficult to find somebody else. And that's why sometimes, even very often, Ramzan Kadyrov, he speculates around it. He used to say to Putin, to Moscow, that it's impossible to replace him, to change him, and to appeal for somebody else. I don't know what about the future. But at the moment, I do believe that Putin, he doesn't think about the possibility of changes on the top level in Chechnya.
So, Lilith Gevorgyan, basically Ramzan Kadyrov has a point when he says that he's the only man who can run Chechnya.
Well, he's given the task, an enviable task, to deal with the situation, and at the moment he's doing the best that he can. However, is it good for Chechnya, and is it good for Kremlin, what he's doing? I mean, with the view of the reality, when there is no real plan from the Kremlin to deal with the situation, he is sort of the only choice. However, he is also, to my mind, will become a scapegoat for all the failings of the central government, and probably not in coming months, but in a year or two he will probably be replaced. The question is, will there be a viable alternative to him, or will it be another Ramzan Kadyrov? The problem is that there are deep-rooted social and economic issues. There is a problem between secular movement of self-action and the Islamist movement that is sort of taking over this. So it's a complex issue, and both the Chechen society, which, as your previous speaker said, is quite tired of the constant conflict, the low-level conflict, and the central government, the federal government, they have to tackle all these issues. But it's quite disheartening to hear that the governor of the North Caucasus district, Alexander Khloponin, he declared basically that he's more or less powerless to deal with corruption, which is one of the major sources of evil in that part of the region, because he basically said that this will lead to clan wars, because the whole region is divided between clans and lucrative sectors of economy and administration. The Kremlin has invested about 1 billion in recent years, and all of it has gone to places where they shouldn't have ended up and didn't serve to the public. So I think Kadyrov for time being will remain, but eventually he'll be changed. The question is, who will be next, and will there be an alternative, a viable alternative?
Okay, Mohammad Shoshani, this issue about a viable alternative. I mean, in 1994, the war was a unified war against Moscow and the Kremlin. By 1999, however, the war was a fragmented war, warlords fighting between each other and also fighting with Russia. So what is actually the alternative for the Chechen opposition?
The alternative is to unite and unify their position, and there is a military struggle inside the country. There is a political component outside of the country, and they should do the political part and try to contact the Russian Federation and start peace negotiations. But Russia is not going to listen to that, and I think that the involvement of the European Union and the international community is important for this issue to materialize. Unless there is a third party that would gamble on this issue and put forward their good offices, there is not going to be peace in Chechnya, and the war will continue forever.
Well, it is a conflict that has been lasting for the past 2 centuries, and so far there has been no political settlement. But we have reached the end of our program, so I'd like to thank our guests, Alexei Malyshenko, Lilith Gervorgyan, and Mohammad Shishani. And thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Inside Story. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. Goodbye for now.